This is what you need, I'm pretty sure. It is the show that tells you the must-draft players. Hyperbolic? Yes, but also must-draft players. Fantasy basketball coming up, 25-26 season, and of course, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I will wear a 15-pound beard of bees for you, and just for you. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. This show that we do here about 9 days out from the start of the NBA season is usually the most watched show that I do. So, if that is the case and everyone's watching, hey, hit subscribe, that'd be great. But also, I do shows all through the year. We do recaps of games at least 5 days a week, talking about all the fantasy value. We do multiple waiver wire specific shows. We do buy low, sell high shows. We do daily preview shows. We do injury reports. We do live question and answer mailbags. We do weekly preview shows. It's all here. So if you are looking for fantasy basketball information, we're going to have so much of it here. So if this is the show that you're watching and you've just discovered it for the first time, hey, we got a lot of stuff going on. Mock drafts happening at the moment. A do not draft show tomorrow as well. So in saying all that, I'm glad that you guys are here. I will also say this about this sort of show and just lay out how we're doing it. I do this to tell you the guys that you have to draft in every round. I say this with no exaggeration at all. I've never been wrong before in my life. In fact, some may say I've got an accuracy of even over 100%. That is how correct I am with all of these. So it's so easy for you to get all this right. No one works more than me. I work 35 hours a day to get you this information to be 120% correct at all points. Now, to actually talk about what we're doing, what I'm looking at is in each round, we're doing a standard base 12-man league for ESPN categories, points, Yahoo categories, and points looking at their current rankings, which is for me here on the 14th of October. I don't know that they'll do any more updates, but who knows? And I'm going through, I don't want to tell you that the guy that's ranked 25th is a great pick in the third round, because, I mean, like, sure, but in general, like, that guy's not available for the vast majority of picks in round 3. So I've looked at the ranks from the midpoint of the round through to the midpoint of the round after. So if I'm talking about who's a must-draft guy in round 3, that guy's got to be ranked sort of 30, which is the middle of round 3, through to 42, which is the middle of round 4. That's the sort of range I'm looking at to give you ideas of this guy's going to be available largely in this round, and I think it is good value to do that. I'm not going to do round 1 because round 1 is round 1. We know who we're sort of taking there. We're going Jokic or Wemby up top. We're going Shea or Luka. Next, if it's a points league, Giannis moves into the 3 spot, and that's your top 5 in every format. And then you can do any sort of grouping of whatever you want to do. I would be looking at Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, James Harden. I would not be looking at Anthony Davis or Karl Anthony Towns in the first round. I'm a little hesitant on Trae Young, to be honest. But I also get it if you want to do it. But that's really not what we're talking about in this show. We want to go from round 2 onwards, because again, I don't know that there's must-draft guys in round 1 necessarily. I don't think that concept really works that way. And the general idea of a must-draft player also as a concept doesn't really work. It is all about picking your spots and adjusting to a draft. But that's what I'm trying to give you guys that I think, for the large part, are going to be available to you in these specific areas based on the current info we have at hand. So let's take a look. Let's get to round 2 and take a look at the 4 different formats we're looking at. Categories on Yahoo, categories on ESPN, and points for both, to take a look at who some must-draft players could be. On Yahoo, I think Kevin Durant should be a first-round player. I'm taking him in the second round of a lot of my mock drafts. He's ranked on Yahoo at the moment, and Yahoo's X rank is a blend for, this is what Yahoo wants to do. Again, they're completely wrong in doing it this way, but this is what they want to do. Their X rank is allegedly a blend between category leagues and points leagues with that high score format mixed in, even though, of course, their latest adjustment made it look more like a category league ranking. Anyway, Durant is ranked at 15. Now, I know that Durant is old. I understand this. But I think that at pick 15 for Kevin Durant, to me, he's a guy that I look at the end of the first round, and he is available in lots of spots in round 2. I'm just going to put him there. If you're in a Yahoo points league, Alperen Sengun is ranked at 21. I think that Alperen Sengun in a Yahoo points league should be much higher than that. I think that we're talking too low here for Sengun in that spot. And like if I look at where I've got him projected per game, like it's close to a first round player. So getting him at the end of the second, you love it. If you look at Devin Booker, who for ESPN category leagues is ranked 17th. So that's right around that midpoint of round 2. This is a first round player, I think, relatively comfortably. So, like last season, he was 25th, but we're removing Durant and Beal from the mix. We are adding Jalen Green, but he's now moving back to being a point guard. So assists will rise, usage will rise. And, do you think he's going to shoot worse than 33% from 3? To me, Booker with a rank of 17, again, if someone's ranked 17, you might find them slide to 20. If I'm in round 2, anywhere, any spot in round 2 and I see Devin Booker available, easy pick. Easiest pick. And then if you're talking about ESPN points leagues, where ESPN, this is the thing that they do well, they have separate rankings for categories and points leagues. Now, the rankings aren't always the way that I would see things, but that's fine. They've got Tyrese Maxey at 20 for their ESPN points league rankings. I believe that is a little bit too late for Tyrese. I think that he is a guy that in an ESPN points league, you're probably looking at on the turn, to be honest. So there is value in that selection. Round 3. I did try to avoid guys like some of the players who are currently injured, Embiid and Paul George, and some of the significantly injury-prone players, unless we got to certain spots. But in round 3, I do think that when we're talking about old mate Zion Williamson, I have to include him in this discussion because if we Yahoo points, he's ranked 37th, which puts him the start of round 4. This, to me, is a first-round player in points leagues. He is not currently injured. Yes, he didn't play very much last season, Zion, but also the season before he played 70 games. So, I'm okay with him in round 3 in a points league. In a category league, I go a little bit later. Now, I understand if you don't want to do it. Totally okay. For Yahoo category leagues, Austin Reeves is currently ranked at 40. LeBron is out. We don't really know when LeBron is coming back. I was happy to take Reeves, honestly, in round 3 before LeBron was hurt. Now, easy decision. He's going in round 4. So, he's ranked in round 4. It doesn't mean he's always going to go there, but that's why I'm giving this sort of space to evaluate guys. If I'm in a category league, Austin Reeves should not be out of round 3, to me, pretty comfortably. I don't believe there's much of a debate about that. I don't think, anyway. On ESPN, if we're talking about round 3 on ESPN, Kevin Durant has an ESPN category ranking of 31. I think he's a top 10 player. So, yeah, the easy, any pick. Pick 25. Take him. You take him in round 2, you do it on ESPN categories as well. But whatever. He's there at 31. And Evan Mobley on ESPN points leagues has a rank of 34. I can't really understand, the reasoning behind that. I don't get it. I'm not really sure why he's so low. Last season, for example, Mobley was 29th per game for ESPN points. He's ranked at 34th, and they're going to be missing Garland and Strus to begin the season, and I think he's going to be better. This is a pretty easy one to me as well. This is an end of third round pick. So, yeah, knock yourselves out with Evan Mobley. They're in round 3 for ESPN points leagues. We'll come back and talk about more of these must-draft players in a sec. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you're not going to want to miss. It's the simple offer of betting just $5 as a new customer, winning that $5 bet, and getting $300 in bonus bets. Pick your bet, $5 on, you win it, $300 in bonus bets, and use that right across the app. Player props, spreads, totals, parlays, same-game parlays, live in-game betting, whatever sport you're choosing, it's there on FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Go to FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today to get started. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Today's episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth. It might be 401ks or properties or investments. And when you don't have that full picture, how can you start to make your financial situation better? If you don't know what you're worth, you can't make it better. So Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. It does the heavy lifting, so you can link all of your accounts in minutes, see the clear picture where you sit financially, trends, spending, categorizations. You and your partner can check all that stuff. Give it to your professional financial advisor, whoever it is. It's all there so you can see the picture. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONNBA. So we're talking must-draft players here, guys, in each round for each format that we like as fantasy drafting targets. So let's head to round 4 for the points and category leagues across ESPN and Yahoo. I really do like Brandon Miller this season. I know that you will tell me that he was injured last season. That is true. You will tell me that he plays for the Hornets and they might be bad. That is also very true. But I think we're talking about a probable round 3-ish type player who's currently going at 49, meaning he is available at every pick in round 4 if people are basing stuff off the rankings. And yeah, look, I don't like that he tore his wrist ligament last season. I think he might be a little bit shaky early on this season, honestly. But I do think there is value in Brandon Miller at that spot. When I said earlier that Yahoo claims that their rankings are a blend of points and categories, then it makes no sense that they've got Paolo Banchero at 41. Their original rankings had him at 12, which again makes no sense if it's a blend. That is a pure points league rank. And now at 41, it doesn't really suit anyone's gain. It is more category based. So when you're in a points league draft and you sort the draft room by X rank and Banchero comes up at 41, be very happy about it because that is absolutely immense value in a fantasy points league. To me, this is a second round player. You could discuss to look at him on the turn at 12-13 in a Yahoo points league, and Paolo is currently sitting ranked at 41, and we know that ADP tends to follow X rank. So Paolo's ADP currently is now at 26. 26. By the way, Austin Reeves' ADP 48. Paolo's at 26. So originally he started at 12. And then to 14 or whatever. Now he's at 41, and the ADP is pushing back. So you can get Paolo in a lot of spots. On ESPN, I don't understand this for both categories and points leagues. Jalen Johnson, the Atlanta Hawks' Jalen Johnson, who I think is going to be an all-star this season. He's ranked 42 for category leagues and 43 for points leagues. I don't get it. I maybe to give them some credit there. His ADP is 48 on ESPN, by the way. They're worried that he's had quite a few injuries this season, or in seasons. He was the 21st ranked player per game in ESPN points last season, by the way. For category leagues, he was 22nd per game. This is thievery. If I'm in round 3 on ESPN, these are easy picks of Jalen Johnson. Look, the easiest picks. But you can get him in some spots in round 4. So, don't even worry about that. That is just, don't overthink that at all. Let's go to round 5 and talk about must-draft players. I think you'd be surprised at some of these names on this list, or at least one of these names on this list, because I'm known, apparently, as a hater of Nikola Vucevic. But for Yahoo, he's currently sitting at 54. I think Vuce in a points league can be a top 50 player this season. What I said about Vuce last season is that I don't think he's a very good real-life center. I believe that still is true, and it was true last season. And I didn't like drafting him in the 30s or 40s last season, and then he shot the lights out for 3 months and made me look silly. And then he was bad for 2 months at the end of the season and was outside the top 100 for a period of time and made me look good. In the end, the total value ranking of him was higher than I anticipated, so I was wrong on that. But now, for a point, there is worry that he gets traded or moved somewhere else, absolutely. But again, if I'm getting him in round 5, I think there's plenty of value there. Now, if you are dead set, and it's the Bulls, they don't know what they're doing. If you are dead set that he is getting moved, you probably don't do this. But in terms of just purely where he is for a points league, that's easy value. His teammate is ranked at 63, Kobe White. Yes, Kobe White is going to be available to begin the season. Now, I think he's going to be slightly limited with his calf injury. So I'd watch the minutes early on and maybe some rustiness because you're not playing in preseason, but that's cool. He's ranked at 63. I think Kobe's a top 50 player per game, and I think it's going to be a slower build to get there, but he will get there. And he'll be probably rolling top 40 for the last 3 months would be my guess. So you can get Kobe White very clearly here, like even outside of round 5, you could maybe even get him in round 6. If I look at Kobe and his current ADP, if I can find it, sits at 61. Very, very happy to do that. On ESPN, this is Jaren Jackson time because he's at 55 in category leagues and 66 in points leagues. Okay. I think Jaren is a top 40 player pretty easily. I don't know that that's controversial. ESPN with their rankings just really trying to lean hard into the fact that, well, someone's injured, so we have to bump them way down. Maybe that's what they're doing. But I think he's easily like a top 35 category player. In points leagues, he's what? Where was he last season? ESPN, 44th. I think he's better than that this season with no Bane. These ranks don't make sense. Unless they think he's missing 2 months or 6 weeks. And I think, honestly, he's back, if not opening night, within a week, is my guess. But I don't know that. So I guess there's a little bit of risk element in that part of it. Maybe. What about round 6? You knew that Jakob Poeltl was going to appear on this list. Here he is. He has come in a little bit from that original 84 spot on Yahoo into 75. And, okay, that's still value to me. I like Julius Randle with a ranking of 70 on ESPN in round 6. ESPN, on Yahoo in round 6. We're talking points league here. Honestly, for a category league, I think it's fine to look at him there as well, if that's what you wanted to do. But in a Yahoo points league, Julius Randle last season was 67th. I think that he can be better than that this season. He had some injuries. I think that is really strong points league value for Randle at 70. And like I said, Poeltl at 75. I could see Jakob being close to top 50 this season. And you're able to get him in most spots here in round 6. This is one of the ones, again, where there is injury concern. And I talked about Zion round 3 for points leagues. But on ESPN, he's ranked at 76th for category leagues. I actually do think in category leagues he can be close to a first-round player this season. Probably top 15. And you're going to say, but look at his 9-cat value. It doesn't matter because, again, if you believe that, then you believe that Paolo's basically unrosterable and Giannis is outside the top 50. So don't use those numbers. Zion last season was 23rd in head-to-head category value per game in 29 minutes. So I know there are injury concerns. But again, like I said, he also played 70 games 2 years ago. So it's not like it didn't happen. Last season was bad. No problem with it. The injuries were bad. That was also the best Zion we've ever seen play. He was doing everything, passing. His rebounds were up. He was scoring at will. His efficiency was strong, but although it can get better. His defensive stats were there. And I don't even know that they're going to continue. But Zion at 76, pretty easy. Kawhi Leonard is ranked 69th for ESPN points leagues. And I was debating putting Kawhi on some of these ones. Or maybe in round 5 we take him, because I think taking Kawhi in the 50s is okay. Roto, go earlier, no problem. Head-to-head categories in head-to-head points, it gets a little iffy because I have significant worry that Kawhi is going to hurt his knee again and not be there, especially fantasy playoffs. Last season, he didn't play the first 2 months and then was strong. But what if he plays the first 2-3 months this season and then wear and tear builds up and it becomes a problem? That's a concern. But also, like Zion, Kawhi played basically a full season 2 years ago. And then, of course, he hurt his knee again. But that did happen. But he's ranked at 69th. What's the downside in that? Yeah, the downside is he plays 30 games. But I actually don't think that's going to happen. And if it does, what are you going to do about it? You didn't burn a premium pick on Kawhi to get him at that spot. Like, it's totally reasonable, I think, that you can look at Leonard at that area. Let's look at round 7. This guy is moving up a lot. Asar Thompson. He was outside the top 100 originally on Yahoo, and I targeted him a lot. In fact, I had him in like the 70s, maybe even 60s, but with some concern because I didn't know really what JB would do in terms of playing time and his lack of shooting. But we are seeing Asar move up and up and up, and he's up to number 79 now, Asar Thompson, on Yahoo's rankings, which is obviously a lot higher than the 106 that he was at beforehand. His ADP is following it is at 82. But I think that you will see him in many drafts go in the 50s. That's probably getting a little bit too aggressive for me, but you're around 7. This is an easy pick. You're around 6. I'm okay with Asar Thompson, honestly. Jalen Green for Yahoo is ranked at 78. And in a category league, I don't think I want to do that. But in a points league, I do. I'm very happy with Jalen Green at that spot in a points league. Jalen Green last season in Yahoo points leagues was 76th. So it's sort of bang on there. I actually think he can probably do a little bit more this season in Phoenix, but I don't know that for sure. But I like the value of it there. On ESPN, we talked about Kawhi already. We'll do it again. His category rank is even lower. It's at 83. An absolute no-brainer. If you're looking in round 7, no-brainer. And then I really like Peyton Pritchard. His rank is 85. I've had Peyton Pritchard in the top 50 basically since my projections came out, around that mark. It might have been in the 60s early, then we heard rumors that he's going to start, and I do believe he is going to start. And this man hit a million threes, like 3.2 threes in 28 minutes last season at 41%, and maybe the percentage doesn't hold. In fact, it probably doesn't because there's extra responsibility, but why can't he play 5 more minutes? Be an 18-5 player, 1.2 steals, hitting 3.9 threes. And in ESPN points leagues, it's pretty easy to me where he's ranked at 85. You take him in round 7. In fact, you take him in round 6. In fact, if you wanted to, take him in round 5. Remember, we're doing 12-team leagues here as a basis. So there is lots of value in this area of a draft in particular. There is a lot of value to be had. We'll come back and talk about rounds 8, 9, 10, even 11 in a sec. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Peloton. Yes, Peloton. Peloton, I've got a Peloton. I love it, but I don't have their new thing. It is the Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus Peloton. If you want to send a Cross-Training Tread Plus, that'd be great. But Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with that new Cross-Training Tread Plus, which is powered by Peloton IQ. It is their most advanced equipment yet. It gives you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. You might be running or lifting or cross-training, and it has all that stuff there for you. It will show you, the Peloton IQ, how to make sure you are using the right weights, tracking your reps, correcting your form if necessary to make it smarter and safer. Plus the screen, it swivels. So you can go from the tread to the floor, lifting weights, and it moves so you can see exactly what's going on and it tracks what you're doing. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Okay, we are talking about must-draft players for category leagues, for points leagues, for Yahoo, for ESPN. We're covering all four corners of the, I was going to say the Holy Trinity, but it's not. It's a quadrinity. Is that a real word? Probably not. Let's talk about round 8 now, and we are going to double dip for Yahoo for category leagues and points leagues because Alex Sarr, I think, is being positioned incorrectly. Now, I know that Alex Sarr shot poorly last season, but he's ranked 95th for Yahoo. And for categories and for points leagues, I think it's a steal. Honestly, I think that he can be top 50 points league player this season. And there are a couple of easy things to this. Number one, let's just talk about what he said in the preseason. My focus is taking shots closer to the basket. More shots. Cool. First preseason game, did exactly that. And we had some worries about his injury. He's fine. He played. Good. No worries. He blocks a lot of shots. Last season, he played 27 minutes a game. Almost no shot that does not jump by 4 minutes, well, let's say 3 minutes minimum. It could go to 6. And I feel very confident. I know that he did not shoot well. I know that. But you know what the things that increase the most, year 1 to year 2? Shooting percentage and assist rate. They're the two things that improve the most, but it's shooting percentages by a mile. It's so big, the general year 1, year 2 jump. I don't even think that Alex Sarr is going to be a 50% guy. He might be 44. That's enough, man. I know it was bad. I am banking. I am, in fact, projecting that it won't be that bad. Therefore, I'm very happy. Sarr, who was 130th and 105th in points leagues last season, I'm very happy to get him in round 8. I think that this is a top 80 category league guy, maybe top 70. And in points leagues, easy top 60 for Yahoo. No real question. I can't understand the ESPN ranking of James Butler III. I can't. I know that Jimmy Butler, no one knows it more than me. Well, that's not true. I'm sure others actually know it more than me. That's a lie. I apologize for that lie. Terrible lie. Because people have played with this guy and know that he's an asshole, right? We've had plenty of examples of this. Other people love him. But also, yeah, we saw what happened last season and in many other spots before. But what? 94th? Do we expect the same thing happens again, that he just stops playing? I don't. That is just, it's so far off to me. And I'm not a Butler guy. You get him in the 50s, I'd like it. If you wanted to take him in the 40s, I get it. But he's at 95. 94, sorry. What? Yeah, easy. Manuel Quickly. I worry a little bit about Quickly this season. I worry about how the ball gets distributed between all their players that need the ball. And someone said, you don't know what you're talking about. They don't need the ball in their hands. Scotty Barnes and Quickly, they get a lot of assists. Yeah. Do you know how you get assists? By having the ball in your hands. So when I say they have a lot of guys that have the ball in their hands, they do. There's no one there who just defends and does catch and shoot shots. Because the players who aren't ISO dribble guys, Ingram, Barrett, those sort of players, are Quickly and Barnes, whose value comes from passing and distributing and setting up. And to do that, you need the ball in your hands. So that's what that thing is. And that's a little bit of my worry with Quickly. But he sits at 99 on ESPN points leagues. You've got almost 30 spots of buffer with that selection. So to me, that becomes relatively straightforward. Let's take a look at round 9. I found it a little bit hard in round 9 to do a must-draft guy for Yahoo categories. I do like Drew Holiday this season, especially early on while Scoot Henderson is out. This might fade away, but I'm putting Drew there. I'm not feeling incredibly strongly about it. He's currently at 106. So he went from like 130 down to 80, which was weird, and now he's up to 106. That's a lot of rubber banding, but 106 is giving good value still. For Yahoo points, Rowan Barrett is at 111. And again, this is where you take advantage of the Yahoo rankings because of this alleged blend they're trying to put out there. For a category league for 111 for Barrett, pretty much fine. If you go a little bit earlier on it, that's okay. But for a points league, that might be 40 spots of value. So you take advantage of their, let's say, laziness in not creating separate rankings for separate formats. On ESPN, how have we watched the preseason and Matos Bazalis sits at 102? It is true that there could be sleeper creep, a term I just invented, on Bazalis. That he starts going higher and higher. I've got to have him. He's the guy. I think he's going to be really good. I believe in my very first mock draft of the season, I took him at 75. Admittedly, he was the top of my queue. My timer ran out and I was looking to get him in the round after that. But still, that is the area I have him. And that's sort of where I had him the whole time. I've bumped him a little bit further over the last week or so because it is apparent that he's going to play 30 plus minutes. Last season, he played 19 minutes and he wasn't very good. That's true. He shot 45, but 36 from 3. Good free throws. The blocks were good. He's going to do a lot more. The usage was under 20. That is going up, I'm very certain. At 102, that might be the easiest pick so far. There's better ones coming. That might be the easiest one. And then on ESPN, again, Brandon Miller's at 106. Come on. What? I know that he got hurt. Who cares? What? 106? That is just incredibly straightforward as a pick to make, I think. Brandon Miller, ESPN, must draft, points, round 9. Let's just call round 10 the Tamani Kamara round. Maybe, and I didn't think that I would be higher on Kamara than others. I didn't think so. But apparently I am. Because let's just go through it. For Yahoo, he's at 120. So for categories and points leagues, I think that makes him a great pick. On ESPN, he's at 116 in their points league rankings. And again, I think that makes him a great pick. I think he's a pretty comfortable top 100 player. And even if he's only barely a top 100 player, if you're getting him at the very end of round 10 at pick 120, you've snagged 2 rounds of value basically already. Last season, he was 120th in points leagues and 101st in category leagues. So even if we don't bank any improvement into this, a usage rise from 14.6 to say 17, then he's fine at this spot. He's already there. But I do think he's going to improve in year 3. And these are just confounding numbers. Easy round 10 pick. The other one there for ESPN categories is the big fella himself. Oh, hi, Mark. Mark Williams is at 117. And I know it can be scary to consider Mark Williams. What are you losing? Picking him in round 9 or 10? Actually nothing. You don't lose a single thing. If he gets hurt, oh well. If he plays 31 minutes a night, this man will be a top 30 player. I'm telling you now, he will be a top 30 player if he plays over 30 minutes a night. And you'll say he won't. But you know what? He did. He did play 30 minutes a night for the Hornets. When he came into the season injured, they ramped him up, he played 30 plus minutes a night, and then they shut him down for tanking. So Absolute no-brainer at 117. This is not even a question. There's no decision to be made here. Like whether you're debating, do I take Mark Williams? Yeah, you do. And do you take Tamani Kamara? Like, also, yes. So that's 10 rounds. So that's for most leagues. That's your starters. That's your active positions. But I wanted to give you just what we can look at in round 11. That flyer type area. So let's go through some names. Keyshawn George is an interesting player. I've gone back and forward on him. He was a hard player for me to evaluate from college, and then he came into the NBA doing things very different to what he did in college. He blocked shots again in their preseason game, and he did start with Bilal Coulibaly out. Now, I think there is going to be some squishiness with Bilal, with Cam Whitmore, with Chris Middleton, but it's going to be back and forward a lot. Keyshawn's ranked at 129. I like grabbing him as one of my flyers. He, especially early on in the season, the shooting is somewhat of a concern. Like, they are bad efficiency numbers, like terrible. But like I said with his teammate, fellow second-year player Alex Sarr, I expect that all improves. Can his usage go up? Should, yeah. And the 27 minutes. That one might not change that much because of those other players that I mentioned, but it's fine. I don't care. If I'm in a Yahoo points league, Ace Bailey is a very easy draftable flyer guy around 11. He's ranked at 156, and while the shooting that he's displayed in preseason, I don't buy it. Some of the other concerns with his game, the low assists, the low free throw attempts, is still a problem. In a points league, he is going to get shots and lots of opportunities. For category leagues, there can be some concerns, and that's going to be one to really monitor. But I've got no problem if you want to take Ace Bailey in a category league in round 11. Do it, who cares? It's a fly around. But for a points league, this is an easy target. On ESPN, I was going to have Zach Edey for both of them, but I'm just going to put him there for category leagues. He's ranked at 178, which of course suggests that even in a 14-man league, you are not drafting him, which of course is insane. It is silly. I think Zach Edey is going to be a top 60 player per game once restrictions are lifted. Now, he will miss the start of the season. That is true. And it will be a ramp up. And that is why I don't draft him in the top 100. But at round 11, where are we getting a maybe top 60 player? Nowhere. To me, this is an easy pick. You've got to have the IL slots for it, of course, because he is going to miss time. This is true. But if it starts to take too long, you just drop him. And then, I told you that there was a crazy pick before that I thought might be the worst one. This is way worse. Why is Matas Buzelis ranked at 135 for ESPN points leagues? What is the justification for that? I can't figure it out. I get you can be skeptical that maybe his shooting is not where it needs to be, or maybe his usage and his minutes aren't what everyone else thinks. That's okay. I get that. But he's at 135, and at 136 is Bub Carrington, and 137 is Yves Missi. Also, why is Cam Johnson at 133, and why is Aaron Wiggins ahead of them all? Why is Chris Paul sitting 20 spots ahead of Matas Buzelis? I can't give you the answer to that. It doesn't make sense. Why is Daniel Gafford at 103? I don't know. Just take advantage of it. Buzelis at 135 is maybe the best present you could get given in an ESPN points league. I think he's a top 75 points league player, honestly. So again, you might not want to wait until round 11. You've got so much space there. Take him in round 7, it's a W. 8, 9, 10, 11, any of those. You will get a good result, I'm pretty sure. And that is must drafts. Don't take the must draft wording literally, it's not. It's just looking in each round with a realistic range of where you could be picking guys that I like who I do think are going to be able to beat that number. And I hope that this works for you. Subscribe. If you are watching on the YouTube mobile app, scroll across where the comments are to the hype button and click that. Hype this video up. Subscribe, comment, double bang. Leave as many comments. Leave them all over the place. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.